Hello, beautiful people. It is me, Tasha K with Goddess Day, and today I want to talk about 5 questions that I think you should be asking yourself at the end of the year. For me, I get very, very reflexive at the end of the year because I feel like on a day-to-day basis, I have so much to do. I'm always on the go. And the end of the year, it starts to get cold. I want to hibernate anyway. I'm always in the house. And so I use this as a time to get insular and get very thoughtful and very reflective about where my life is and where I want it to be. And there's an exercise that I use to do this that I want to share with you today that I think could have an incredible impact on your life and help you be more intentional. And I have just accepted, guys, that intentional is my word. So I'm going to say it all the time, every day of my life, in every single video. Everything is about intentionality, okay? So there, if you notice that I say it a lot, yes, I do. I say it a lot because I feel like that is what the driving force of life is about for me, because I don't want to live a life on accident. Especially because there's so many forces around us that try to shape and mold and coerce and manipulate us into having a specific type of life. So I want to be the one that is in charge of the life that I want to have, and I don't want to miss it at all. I want to be able to enjoy and luxuriate every single moment. I want to be able to have the adventures that I say I want to have. I want to be able to see the world. I want to be able to be healthy and happy and all of those things. And I think that in this day and age, it requires intentionality. So today we're going to be doing an exercise. And for this exercise, you're going to need 5 sheets of paper. All right. The sheets of paper, they should look something like this. It can be notebook paper, whatever, as long as they are 5 separate sheets of paper. And once you get them, I want you to fold them in half like so. Okay. And once you fold them in half, what you're going to do, you're going to have 5 sheets of paper. And on every single sheet of paper, you're going to write something different at the top. What you're going to write at the top is going to be either on one page, financial health, on the other, mental health, on the other, physical health, on the other, relationships, and on the other, purpose and fulfillment. These are the areas of life that we are going to tackle. Now, if you're listening to these areas, these 5 different areas, and you're like, actually, I want to switch this up a bit, feel free to do that. The one that I will ask that you keep is the financial health. All right. I think that being able to interrogate all of the areas of your life is so important for your overall finances. My clients know one of the things that I am notorious for is having them evaluate not only their finances and their ability to save and invest, but also how the other areas of their lives are impacting that, because there's this misconception that finances are just about numbers, and that is so far from the truth. Your finances are actually about, what are the things that are happening in your day-to-day life. That is what impacts what goes on and what's left in your bank accounts and your investment accounts and stuff like that. So definitely we want to keep financial health because it pours into every other area of our lives, okay? So we have our sheet of paper. Every single one has a different focus at the top. You can pick you can switch them out at your will, or you can have more than 5 if you really about that life. Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I might have 10 that I really want to go into, but I'm trying to keep it manageable and focus on what I think is the most important for this video, okay? So now that you have that, you're going to write your rating for that area on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being awful and 10 being amazing. Okay, so for your financial health, you'll rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. For your mental health, physical health, purpose and fulfillment, and relationships, you'll rate them all on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you can, try not to use the number 7, because so often people just default to the number 7 for some reason. So I want you to look is this 7 as in, okay, actually it's more of a 6, 7, or is it 7 as in it's more of a 7, 8? So we can see which side is this actually falling on? Let's be for real. Once you do that, now you have to get into the nitty gritty about, this is step number 2. Why did you give it this rating in the first place? So, for example, if I'm working on financial health and I gave that an 8, well, now I'm going to talk about why, and I'm going to get into the highs, and I'm going to get into the lows, and I'm going to get into where I overcame, and I'm going to get into where the challenges overcame me. And just, on the front of the paper, lay it all out. Really get into it. Even if you need to go to the back of the paper, you can do that too. But really be thoughtful about why you gave that area the rating that it did, and talk about what is working in that area and what is not working in that area. So, for example, if I was looking at my physical health, right, I would give myself an 8. And not necessarily because it's right where I want it to be, but because of how much effort I put into it. This year, I focused on increasing my protein intake. I focused on improving my sleep cycle. I focused on working out more. And then I focused on working out less because I could see how my body wasn't responding like most people's bodies was, and I had to figure out, okay, well, that might work for them, but what actually works for me, and then how can I ramp up from there? So I know that I was very intentional about it. I wasn't just doing what everybody else was doing, but I was really trying to find something that was going to work for me, and I feel the difference. Right. So that's how you would go through it. You would talk about, these are the things that worked, these are the things that didn't work. And so on and so forth. Just be as thorough as possible in your explanation for why you gave it that rating. And as you get going and as you get talking, you can start to see like, actually, I want to change my rating, or actually, I want to keep it the same, whatever. Okay, so now we're going to go into question 3. So you gave every area a rating, you talked about why, and now I want you to think about which areas of your life do you want to focus on improving in 2025. All right, because sometimes we can get overwhelmed and overburdened by trying to do everything at one time. Okay, I want you to focus and pick a few, right? You might pick 1 or 2 or 3 and create a plan for the first 90 days about how you're going to improve those areas. But before we get into that, just pick which are the 1, 2, or 3 things that you want to take to focus on in the new year. So go through your financial health. Okay, hopefully that's at the top of the list. That's why we're here. And looking at your physical health, your mental health, your purpose and fulfillment, and your relationships. And then you might have subcategories under those too that really pop out for you, right? Like maybe you want to focus on under relationships. Maybe you're like, my relationships with my friends and family are great, and I really want to be more intentional about finding love this year. Or I really want to focus on improving my relationship with my partner, or whatever the case may be. You might have some subcategories in there. But we have 5 cards in our hand, but we can only take at most 3 with us. And we're going to have to say goodbye to those other 2 cards, okay? So take a minute and pick which ones you want to focus on, and then sit the other 2 down, okay? This is an exercise in letting go. This is an exercise in releasing. You do not have to do everything right now. This is not to say that you won't get to focus on all of these things next year, but as we start the year, what are we going to focus on, all right? And so now that you have the 3 in your hand that you chose, you're going to ask yourself, before you get into what you want to improve, you're going to ask yourself, what lessons or insights did I get that I want to take into the new year with me from these different areas, right? So what did I learn in my finances this year? What did I learn in terms of my relationships this year? What are the insights that I had that I want to make sure that I'm really solidifying? I'm not just glossing over what I got out of this year, but I'm really focusing in on it and allowing it to crystallize and be integrated as something that I'm carrying on with me in my life. And as you do that, I also want you to think about, what are the things that you want to complete in those areas or in other areas of your life. So the areas that you decided to let go of, I want you to make peace with that, complete that for yourself, and focus on what is it that you want to take into the new year for the areas that you have decided to focus on, okay? And you're going to write that on the back side of the paper. And then finally, what you're going to answer for yourself on the inside of the paper is, how do you want to work on this? How do you want to improve it? What are the structures that you're going to implement? So I like to do a 90-day plan, but you could do a 30-day sprint to start. You could do a 90-day plan. You could do whatever you want to do. You can just take it week by week, whatever works for you. But write down some type of structure of how you want to work on this. What are the tools you're going to use to work on this? What's going to be your accountability structure to work on this, right? What are you going to go put on your calendar? Maybe you're going to get a notebook for each category. Maybe you're going to put something on, have a spreadsheet. Maybe you're going to use a habit tracker. Whatever the case may be, write it in here, because this is where it all starts. Get your plan out and just pour it onto the page. And I also want you thinking about, right, as you think about how would you like to improve this area, I want you to be thinking about how much discipline is this going to require? Because if it's going to take a lot of discipline, that's going to let you know out the gate that there's going to be some obstacles, there's going to be some failure, and you're going to need a higher level of accountability, okay? So with that being said, that is our 5-step process that you can use to ask yourself these questions and really start to dig into the areas of your life that you really want to work on and take into 2025 and hit the ground running. And if finances are one of those areas, I would love for you to join our Wealth from Scratch Academy, where we are going to be like, as soon as we get into January, it's our richest winter ever era. So we're going to be hitting the ground running and focused on how do we get to that first 10K or that next 10K. And in Wealth from Scratch, it's about building wealth from the ground up or from wherever you are, but it's also doing it with the understanding that we are human beings, not just human doings. So we're going to be looking at this from an entirely holistic perspective. As you can see, we're looking at the different areas of your life. That's not just something that we do at the end of the year. That's something that we do all year long, because wealth is about the details of your life. And once you get the details of your life together, that's when you're going to start to see your ability to build wealth expand. So thank you guys so much. I really hope that this video helps you. I hope it inspires you to get reflective in this winter season, in this hibernation era, so that you can take control, so that you can be in the driver's seat of your life. Because y'all know what I say. You are the author of your financial story. So make it good. All right. And so with that being said, y'all already know you are not helpless, hopeless, or powerless. In fact, you are powerful beyond measure. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Gotta stay.